Hi, I'm Robert and this is Manhattan Wood Project. Now if you've got more power tools than family members, or you're afraid that when you die your spouse is going to sell your tools for what you actually told her you paid for them, this video probably isn't for you. Don't get me wrong, you're absolutely welcome to continue watching, and I highly encourage it. But I made this video primarily for newer woodworkers, or those who have yet to do any real woodworking at all. You see, this video is my little contribution to Get Woodworking Week 2016. Sponsored by Scott Morton and Tom Iovino.
What should I make today? Manhattan Wood Project. That looks great!
Get Woodworking Week is all about spreading the sawdust bug to those who may not have made shavings before, such as my 12-year-old daughter who made some awesome back porch gardens, which you can watch the video by clicking right here. Now a bunch of other woodworkers are making videos that cover a wide variety of topics, so I've provided a link to the Get Woodworking Week page with all of their videos in the description below. Make sure you check out all the videos. They're awesome. Now I want to talk to you about where to get decent wood at a good price and show you what I've done with the same wood, just so you know it actually can be done. I've made videos for some of these projects and provided links to them for those who are interested in watching. Quite often, woodworkers tend to use rare or expensive wood in their crafts. It's natural to want to make something out of a gorgeous chunk of bird's eye maple, or ipe, or cherry. Unfortunately, there's not that many places that aren't online that sell nice woods like this without requiring either a lot of money or a large truck to transport 10,000 board feet of whatever wood you just bought. And if you bought it online, you have to pay for shipping. And if you bought a big chunk of wood, shipping gets expensive fast. Now, I wouldn't say I'm cheap.
I would.
Hush you. But my wife and everybody else who knows me would. They'd point out my boxes full of drywall chunks, bins of old shirts and socks, and a lumber cart full of scraps sitting right beside me over here. I don't like to spend money, and I hate throwing away part of something I paid for. That goes double for fancy woods like maple and cherry. And that's why I have wood stashed everywhere in my garage. Being the thrifty individual I am, I've made a habit out of making woodworking projects using wood that's available to me. Doesn't require a second mortgage, and will usually fit in my car or minivan. Usually. I'm a big fan of stores like Home Depot and Lowe's. Sometimes the wood in their racks is as twisted and warped as some of the sailors I used to serve with, but there's usually at least a couple pieces you can transform into something nice. For instance, I like 2x4s. 8-foot long planks of pine or fir that sit there and challenge me to make them into something useful, and dare I say it, nice. I've used 2x4s to make the French cleats behind me holding all this stuff up. I've used them in some of these shelves. I've used them in lumber racks, framework for a cutting table for my wife, shelves, my CNC cart. I made an Intarsia picture of my kids watching ducks. I made a pirate chest bank using only a 2x4. 2x4s aren't just for walls. Some of them may be as ugly as a $2 blobfish, but there's usually a few nice pieces to be found in the stacks at the big box stores if you take the time to look through them. Plywood and chipboard are another couple favorite products of mine that are affordable. You can buy sheets of various thicknesses from 2-foot square up to 4-foot by 8-foot. The higher quality ones are more expensive, as expected, but plain ugly plywood is quite affordable and useful. I've used plywood and chipboard in quite a few projects, including all these shelves behind me, my workbench which has 1.5 inches of chipboard on the top, underneath the fabric on my wife's cutting table, on the 2x4 shelves that hold all of our junk, as little fancy vents to go above our doors, and on the back side of some bookshelves I recently built for my kids. 2x4s and plywood go together like peanut butter and jelly or bananas and bacon. With just one of those, you're doing well. If you have both and you put a little elbow grease in, you can make something nice. Let's say you want some wide, thin pieces of wood and you don't want to rip 2x4s in half and glue them together, and you don't want to see plies and plywood. Most big box stores have a variety of 1x material, which is actually 3/4 of an inch thick and comes in widths up to 12 inches. Quite a bit of it may be pretty warped and twisted, especially the lower grade pieces, but with a little searching you can come up with some nice straight boards. Now the boards may have some small knots or marks on them, but I personally like boards that have a little bit of figure on them. I don't like plain boards. Knots add character. Now some of the things I've made with 1x material are a ridiculously large wall of bookshelves, complete with a section to hold pretty dress-up clothes. some smaller bookshelves for my kids. And I even used 1x material to make a picture frame for a friend of mine who recently retired. Now, you can usually find pine, fir, or other softwoods at the big box stores, but there's also other softwoods available. In my area, there's redwood and cedar 2x material, and there's also another good source of cedar available at these stores if you know where to look. Look for cedar fence planks. They may be rough, but they work great for projects like a bird feeder I built a couple years ago, or a back porch garden that my 12-year-old daughter just built. Again, she did an awesome job on it. Now, sometimes the big box stores also have basic hardwoods. In my area, they have red oak, maple, and poplar 1x material. And there's also a small selection of 1/4-inch thick aspen, red oak, and poplar. And if there was ever a sign that woodworking was starting to become popular and you're an awesome person for considering it, it was when my Home Depot started carrying 1x material in white oak, cherry, mahogany, and walnut. I'll tell you what, when I saw those available, there was almost a cleanup in aisle 3. The mahogany may be the cheaper, softer American flavor instead of the classic African mahogany, but it's still a darn fine looking wood. I have yet to build non-pine furniture, but I have been able to use the hardwoods for a few different projects, including some red oak Kokopellis mounted above my front door, some maple mirror mounts, some red oak shelf braces, and some mahogany jewelry holders. Finally, there's one more good source of wood if you're willing to put some work into it. Pallets can be found free or cheap at a lot of places. Many stores just throw them away and they're glad to let you take them. You can often find a lot of good oak or hickory in a pallet and give it a new life. Before my wife made me stop having my 8-year-old take them apart, I was able to build a couple projects out of pallets, including this patio bench and this bird bath with a small garden beneath it. Just make sure that you ask the store if you can take the pallets. Don't just take them if you see a pile behind the building. Sometimes the stores have to return them and they can't give them away. Now there you go. You don't have to spend a lot of money or buy truckloads of wood. You can get a few decent pieces at a relatively low price at the big box stores, or even behind a regular store. Go spend a few dollars, get a 2x4 or a small piece of plywood, or even some decent pine or oak. Just go out and get some wood, because woodworking without wood is just working, and nobody likes working. No matter your age, gender, skill level, or number of tools, there's always something that you can build. My kids built these birdhouses, and this girl built these back porch gardens. You can build something without breaking the bank. Get motivated, get wood, and
Get woodworking!
Did you say it?
Yes.
Okay. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, or if you like my channel, please consider subscribing. You can hit the big subscribe channel below, or hit my little logo up here. Also, please consider subscribing to my upcycling channel, Round Trip Upcycling. You just click on the logo right up here.